Becky and Emma meet at a party. They're in line to the bathroom, but one of them is not human. Can you tell which one? You need to look at the girl's reflection in the mirror. Becky, on the left, has a weird shadow, but is still human. Emma's shadow, on the other hand, reveals she's actually a vampire. Vampires don't have shadows, remember? And do vampires even need to use the bathroom? Well, I can't answer that. Dan was walking his dog when a flower pot hit him on the head. He felt very dizzy and suspected that one of his neighbors had thrown the pot on purpose. He knocked on his neighbor's door to find out if they had done it, but the neighbor said they had just returned home less than 3 minutes ago. However, Dan saw something that proved they were lying. What was it? Well, the neighbors had something boiling on the stove when Dan arrived. Such a large pan doesn't boil in less than 3 minutes. They were definitely lying. 3 people were walking down the street when they saw a car parked in a prohibited place, with the alarm going off. A police officer stopped the 3 of them and asked whose car it was. They all claimed the car was theirs. Which one was lying? The man in the suit is wearing a badge, and the same badge is hanging from the car's rearview mirror. There's also a university sticker on the car, which matches the one on the girl's notebook. They must be family and own the car. The delivery man is the one who's lying. One evening, at around 8 p.m., Henry decided to have dinner. When he walked into a restaurant, a customer and a waiter were arguing. The customer insisted that he had ordered soup, while the waiter said the customer had only ordered tea. Henry noticed something that immediately revealed who was lying. Can you figure it out? The customer is lying. Behind him, there's a huge sign that says the restaurant only serves soup from 1 to 4 p.m. So, no soup for you. Mandy was at the zoo when she had her handbag snatched. She didn't see the thief's face, but she noticed that he was wearing a zookeeper's uniform. Now, take a look at these 2 zookeepers feeding the animals. Which one is the thief? The thief is the one on the right. He's trying to feed a rhinoceros a piece of meat. This clearly shows he knows nothing about animals, since rhinos are vegetarians, thank goodness. It's Cindy's first day at her new job. Take a look at the picture. Can you tell who Cindy's boss is? I know he looks pretty young, but it's the guy on the left. His blazer is on the boss's chair. It was a lovely spring morning, so Margaret took her daughters to the park. She left her bag right beside her next to a stranger. After a few minutes, she noticed the bag was stolen. Can you figure out who the thief was? The person came out from the bush behind the bench where Margaret was seated. He was very quick, but you can still see the bush moving. Bernard is the owner of a meat shop downtown. He sells really expensive meat. That day's special was a premium bacon worth over $500. During the rush, he was so busy attending to customers that he didn't notice someone had stolen the bacon. Who's the thief here? It's the guy in the suit. The dog is sniffing his bag as if there's some bacon inside it. He's definitely the one. Tim always takes his lunch to work, but that day someone stole his burrito. He interviewed his colleagues to find the culprit. Helen, his boss, said she ordered sushi that day. Joe, who's highly allergic to gluten, said he brought his own food. And Beth, another coworker, got a salad from the cafeteria. Take a look at the picture and find the culprit. It was Joe. His hands are severely swollen because he's allergic to the gluten in the burrito. Laurel, a high-profile detective, was leaving the supermarket when the police came rushing in asking for her help. A woman had robbed a jewelry store and was seen walking into that building. Can you tell which one of them is the thief? Take a look at the second cashier's long-sleeve shirt. It has a very shiny diamond necklace peeking out of it. She's most certainly the criminal. The airport police are having a lot of trouble these days. Many convicts escape prison and are trying to leave the country as fast as they can. Take a look at this image. Can you figure out who the fugitive is? It's the lady on the right. Although the woman in the wanted poster is blonde, she must have dyed her hair brown to try to get through security. But her lips and freckles are exactly the same as in the picture. Mabel's boyfriend decided to test her on how well she knew him. Each time she answered correctly, she would get 2 points. Each wrong answer would make her lose 2 points. He asked her 5 questions in total, and Mabel got 4 of them right. How many points did she score? Six points. 4 correct answers gave her 8 points, minus 2 points for 1 wrong answer. Isn't that a great relationship? You're dating a mathematics nerd. On your first date, he takes you to an ancient site and shows you the inscriptions marked on a wall. The inscriptions consist of a sequence of numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. But the other numbers are blurred. He asks you if you can figure out which numbers come next. Can you? The numbers that follow would be 13, 17, 19. This is a sequence of prime numbers, which can only be divided by 1 and themselves. When you arrive at the door of an old temple, the guardian of the temple gives you a vase with this equation written on it. It's your task to figure out the result. What's the answer, genius? The answer is XX, or 20 in our language. IX in Roman numerals stands for 9, while XI is 11. So the total sum is 20. Phil was the guardian of an ancient pyramid. Phil? Okay. He wrote a code down so his successors could find a hidden chamber. But he tore the note to make it more difficult for his enemies to find it. He tore it into 3 pieces, then took one of the pieces and tore it into 3 again. In the end, the note was divided into 9 pieces. How many times did he tear the paper? Four times. After the first rip, there were 3 pieces, then 5, then 7, then 9. Liam asked his brother to solve a riddle. If he got it right, he'd get $50. He told his brother that if he tripled the number he was thinking of, then added 6, he'd get 21. What was the number Liam was thinking of? The number was 5. 5 times 3 equals 15, plus 6 equals 21. Hey, time for blackjack, huh? Now, can you think like a detective and spot the truth buried beneath layers of lies? Well, try anyway. Each riddle will push your brain to the edge, and only the sharpest minds will solve them all. Anastasia is in a coffee shop with her baby in a stroller when her cell phone rings. She needs to go outside for a moment and asks a waitress to keep an eye on the child very quickly. Then, some men approach her and claim to be the father of the kid. Well, who is the real father here? Look, the little one has the same birthmark on his neck as the third man. He's smiling at him and stretching out his arms, which means he recognized the man. It's early morning, and the police set up a blockade near a train station. They know that a prisoner has just escaped and may be among the passengers. Can you tell who the fugitive is here? The police officer notices that the lady with the cane has red marks on her wrists, as if she recently used handcuffs. Plus, her dress has an unusual crease in the back, as if she put it on in a hurry. The cane looks new, and she's using it with the arm opposite the leg with a slight limp. So it's actually the runaway criminal. Can you guess the next two numbers in this sequence? The correct answer here is 192021. If you look at it as two-digit numbers, you'll see 10, 11, 12, and so on. An infinite number of mathematicians walk into a bar. The first math guy asks the bartender for half a glass of juice, the second, a quarter of a glass, the third an eighth, and so on. So, how many glasses of juice will the bartender need to make all the mathematicians happy? Just one. The amount of juice will decrease with every mathematician. I guess they don't like juice all that much. Someone left a kid next to some shower stalls in a public restroom. The baby boy becomes restless and starts crying. There are 3 women in the shower. Which one is his mommy? The last woman is the child's mother. Those packages on the floor next to her are diapers. Sam told her boss someone had stolen the documents he had prepared for the meeting. He added that he noticed someone in a smart suit, gloves, and a black mask. The possible robber also had 2 massive rings with gems on their fingers. The boss knew Sam was lying, and he just didn't prepare the papers on time. How did she guess? He said the person was wearing gloves, but he somehow noticed 2 massive rings. Ah! Rita couldn't wait to try the new Hall of Mirrors at the fun fair. The information board said only 1 person at a time was allowed inside. Rita rushed in and had a bunch of fun looking at all the funny reflections of herself in the weird mirrors. Suddenly, she screamed in horror and ran out. What happened? One of the mirror reflections clearly doesn't belong to Rita. It could be a mistake, or it could be someone hiding there with evil intentions. 2 super-rich businessmen are discussing a secret deal. Shh! They chose a cozy corner of a restaurant from where they could see all the other guests. They whisper as they suspect someone is spying on them. Do you see anyone suspicious here? This guy here has huge headphones, and they aren't wireless, so they must be connected to something. But he forgot to do it, so he can't be listening to music. He must be spying on the businessman. Someone keeps stealing all the earrings from a popular sushi bar. The owner calls the police. They couldn't find any fingerprints, and the cameras were turned off. And every time he was robbed, the owner received plenty of money from the insurance company. After searching the owner's office, the police realized it was him all the time. How? Look at the air vent. There are bundles of money behind the grated hatch. A famous singer holds a press conference. She's known for her love for expensive jewelry, and she never appears in public without her favorites. After the conference, she notices that her bracelet, worth $1 million, is missing. Probably one of the journalists was fake and took it during the autograph session. Any guesses on who it was? Look at this footage carefully. Only one of the journalists doesn't have a voice recorder, a phone, or even a pen and a notepad. He must be the thief. Sandra is looking for a soulmate who would never lie to her. She finds Tommy via a dating app, and he seems perfect. He works for the fire brigade and saves dozens of lives every day. When they go on a first date, Sandra tells him she won't be able to trust him and leaves. What happened? Sandra must have noticed the name tag Tommy forgot to take off. It says he works as an office manager, so he was lying to her about saving lives the whole time. Someone is stealing food from Tina's lunchbox in the office fridge. She decides to catch the thief and puts a little alarm that will send a signal to her phone when someone opens the box. When the alarm goes off, she runs to the kitchen, but the thief must already be back at their desk. Tina immediately guesses who it is. Lisa, her colleague, is trying to pretend she was putting her makeup on all the time, but she has a glue stick instead of a lipstick in her hands. Someone broke into Michelle Neighbor's apartment at around 8 a.m. She called the police and told them the thief's license plate number. They immediately found the guy, but he claimed he was at the cafe on the ground floor of the apartment building having breakfast. So Michelle must have made a mistake. Or did she? The cafe only opens at 9 a.m. The guy couldn't be having a breakfast there before the opening time. Michael got into a car accident. His car was okay, but the other driver crashed into a tree. Luckily, he wasn't injured. When the police arrived, Michael told them, "Yes, I was driving fast, but I'm always careful. This car just pulled in front of me. He must want money from me because he saw I have an expensive car." The other guy said, "I was driving slowly, talking to my wife, and then you appeared out of nowhere." Who do you think is guilty here? Definitely not Michael. The other driver was talking to his wife on the phone, which is illegal. A CEO of a huge company wants to hire a new personal assistant. The selection process goes through several stages, and only 3 candidates make it to the final round. One of them drops her bag by accident, and the CEO instantly decides to strike her name from the candidates list. Why? Well, it's okay to be clumsy sometimes, but it's definitely super weird that this girl is carrying several IDs, all with different names on them, in her bag. She could be a spy from a competing company or just dangerous. Nancy is a model and has lots of competition. Someone poured paint into the shower head before she went in, and the water turned orange. Nancy questioned Laurette, Nina, and Frances. Nancy said, "I did my laundry and then went to cook lunch. I gotta run or it'll burn." Nina said, "I took a shower and washed my hair right before you went in." Frances said, I'm studying for my finals. I have no idea what's going on. Who made Nancy orange? Look at Nina's hair. It's dry and perfectly curled. And she has jeans under her bathrobe. She's clearly lying. Well, how many logical puzzles did you manage to solve? Feel free to brag in the comment section below.
Camilla needs to open an ancient treasury that protects a magical object. There are 3 numbered doors, but only one leads to the real treasury. There's a sign on each door. Door 1 says, "The treasury is behind door 2." Door 2 claims that the treasury is not here, and door 3 is sure that the treasury is here. Camilla knows that door 1 lies, door 2 tells the truth, door 3 lies. Where is the treasure? Door 2 is the only one that tells the truth, so its statement, "The treasury is not here," is true. Door 3 says the treasury is here, but it is lying. So, the treasury is behind door 1. Daniel is a librarian working in an old historic library. One day, he notices that one of the rare books has gone missing. The library is empty except for 3 visitors: Clara, Victor, and Angela. Daniel asks if anyone has seen anything strange. Everyone denies it, so Daniel checks the security cameras. Victor is the thief. In the footage, he still has his backpack. And it's something that is not allowed in the library. See that sign? He could easily hide the book inside. 2 best friends, Jack and Tyler, went to a tropical island to surf and have some rest. After an active day at the sea, they bought a large watermelon and ate it. In an hour or so, Tyler felt unwell and lost consciousness. Luckily, he was taken to a hospital in time. But Jack couldn't understand what had happened. Both guys ate the same watermelon. Tyler didn't have any kind of allergy. Then how come Jack was perfectly fine? Jack didn't eat watermelon seeds, and Tyler did. Whatever substance poisoned him was in the seeds. Lucas wakes up in a hospital after a 2-week coma. He doesn't remember anything, not even his own name. In front of him, 3 women argue with the doctors, claiming to be his wife. Look at them attentively and try to figure out who Lucas's real wife is. Lucas realizes that the only woman who bothered to bring something personal was Rita. In the notebook she holds, there are notes about his medications, his allergy history, and medical reminders. In addition, she has a blue wedding ring on her finger, just like his. All the other women have gold wedding rings. During a conference on modern relationships, 3 women take the stage to share their experiences of life as a couple. They all claim to be married, but one of them is lying. Who is not actually married? The woman in the middle is not married. She's wearing the ring on her right hand, which could mean something else. Maybe it's an engagement ring or just an accessory. Wedding rings are usually worn on the opposite hand. Look at the picture and pay attention to all the details. Can you figure out the secret word that can unlock the door? I'd say there are too many vases in this room, so the secret word must be vase. Something important was stolen from a mansion, and there were 2 suspects, the cook and the gardener. The gardener said he'd been working in the garden all day, and the cook said she'd been working in the kitchen all morning. Who is lying? The cook is a liar. Look at that bread on the table. The cook must have left the kitchen at some point for it to have burned so badly. Lola and Leela were both born in March. When Lola was 4, she was double Leela's age. This March, Leela celebrates her 100th anniversary. And how many candles are there on Lola's cake? She has 102 candles, since their age difference is 2 years. Mila has 2 guys who are courting her. In the evening, she decides to video call each of them. After this, she blocks one of the guys. Which guy is it, and why did she do it? It's the guy on the right. He isn't living alone. See that second toothbrush? It might belong to his girlfriend. There was a green glass door in the middle of a big city. Rumor had it that something mysterious and beautiful was hidden behind this door. A group of friends found the door and tried to go through it. Interestingly, Amanda, Anna, and Oliver managed to sneak inside, while Lauren and Sebastian weren't even able to open the door. What do you think? Will Mark get inside or not? Mark will easily open the door and go through it. Only people whose names contain an even number of letters can do it. Look at this picture attentively. Can you figure out which of these 3 men is the boss? It's the man on the right. Do you see that his suit jacket is hanging on the boss's chair? No matter who's standing behind the desk, he's the boss. Look at these nurses very attentively. One of them is fake, and your goal is to figure out which one is an impostor. The nurses on the right and in the middle have the correct photos on their name tags, but the nurse on the left has the same picture as the second one. Plus, she doesn't look like the person in the photo. She is the impostor. A police officer was following a criminal suspected of smuggling. Suddenly, the man sped up and disappeared around the corner. The officer ran after him, but there was already no sign of the man. The only place where the suspect could hide was a beauty salon. The officer entered it and saw 3 women, but he knew for sure that one of them had to be the man he was looking for. Which one? All the women look stylish and beautiful, but look at the arms of the one sitting on the right. They seem to be too hairy to belong to a woman. That must be the criminal. One day, Cooper was relaxing at home when someone rang the doorbell. When the guy opened the door, he saw 2 police officers. They told Cooper his neighbor had called them, claiming that the guy had insulted him. And when the neighbor allegedly jumped into his car and tried to drive away, Cooper threw a stone and smashed his car window. Cooper asked the police officers to let him take a look at the neighbor's car. After they all examined the vehicle, the police arrested the neighbor. How did they understand Cooper wasn't guilty? The windshield was smashed, but if Cooper had been chasing after the car, the stone would have broken the rear window. A dangerous criminal escaped from the police and got a job in a wealthy household. When the detectives arrived there, they found out that 3 men had been hired recently. The cook told the police he'd been working in a restaurant before. The gardener said he'd always been interested in plants. And the security guard said his father was the house owner's friend. He helped Robert get his position. Who's the criminal? It's the cook. Before the police came, he'd been trying to make an omelet. But look, it's full of eggshells. A real cook would never make such a mistake. Janice rented an apartment with 3 other girls. Once, her mom visited her and gave Janice some money. The girl put the bills under a book lying on her desk and went to see her mom off. When she returned, there was no money in the room. The girl questioned her neighbors. Natalie answered she had just returned from her morning run. Brittany told Janice she had wanted to read the book. After taking it, she put the money in the middle drawer. Kayla said she had entered the room just once to look for her scarf. Who took the money? It was Brittany. The desk has no middle drawer. Mika got trapped by a mysterious person, but they told the girl that she could escape if she solved this riddle. You have a cardboard box. It's easier to lift from a wooden floor than from a steel cable. What's in the box? Mika thought for a while and answered correctly. What did she say? The box is filled with magnets.
Hey, you got your brain all warmed up? All right, let's go. Michael was flying in business class for the first time in his life. Of course, he was curious about his fellow passengers. Soon he realized that one of them just pretended to be rich. Which one was it? It was the guy wearing a blue shirt. On his suit jacket label, you can read that it's made of polyester. Really rich people rarely wear synthetic fabrics. A wealthy man, Mr. Wilson, disappeared from his hotel room. He was rumored to have come to buy the resort from the current owner. There are 3 suspects. Mr. Wilson's assistant said that he had felt unwell and had gone to his room right upon arrival. The hotel owner said that they had agreed to meet in a conference room, but he had gotten lost on his way there. Mr. Wilson's wife said that her husband had planned to meet with the hotel owner, and since she wasn't interested in business, she went to the spa. Who is behind Mr. Wilson's disappearance? It's the hotel owner. How could he get lost in his own hotel? Marcus, a computer genius, needed to get into his client's computer. And, of course, the client didn't remember the password. The only thing he had was a note with a hint. Which number should Marcus type in for the computer to switch on? The correct number is 4. It corresponds to the number of the intersections. A rich businessman called the police and reported that a valuable vase or vase from his collection had gone missing. It turned out the businessman had just returned from his overseas trip. While he was away, a security guard was looking after the house. When questioned, the guard replied that the theft had happened the night before. He was in the same room with the vase, reading. Suddenly, the power went out and he heard the doorbell ring. He hurried to open the door, but there was no one outside. When he came back, the vase was gone. The police didn't believe the man and arrested him. Why? It's because the doorbell doesn't ring if there's no electricity. You meet these 2 women in an elevator at work. You have never come across any of them before, but they both claim they work in your company. In reality, only one of them works there. Which one? It's the lady on the left. She has a badge on her jacket with her name and other information. She must be new in the company. As for the second woman, she's an impostor. Look at this picture and say which person is in greater danger. It's the person on the left, because his ladder is about to snap. Bridget is taking part in a TV challenge show. There are 2 doors in front of her. Behind one of them, there's an unfriendly dog. Behind the other, a case with cash. There are 2 signs on the doors. One always lies. The other is truthful. On the first door, it's written, "The cash is here. The dog is in the next room." The other sign says, "The cash and the dog aren't in the same room. Where is the cash?" The case with the cash is in the second room. The second statement is true, which means the first one is false. Now look at this picture carefully. What's wrong here? Have you paid attention to that weird mirror? It doesn't reflect anything. Another tricky task for you. Look at these people and try to figure out which one of them is weird. Actually, there are two unusual people here. This man apparently has two left hands, and this lady is literally floating above the floor. These people came to a Halloween party, but one monster might be more real than you can imagine. Which one is it? It's the girl on the right. If you look more closely, you'll see a human eye innocently floating in her drink. You're totally lost in the woods, feeling cold and hungry. After hours of wandering, you find 3 houses. Which one should you enter? The first house is locked from the outside. The third house seems safe, but there are footprints leading to the door. Those are wolf paw prints. So your safest choice is house number 2. Julian has lots of patients today and he's very tired. He sneaks a peek at the people waiting to be treated and realizes that one of them is just pretending to be unwell. Which one is it? It's Rick. His phone is in his right pocket, so he must have used his broken arm to put it there, which would have caused him a lot of pain if his arm had truly been injured. Gemma returned from Asia and brought a precious porcelain figurine. She threw a party and invited all her friends to tell them about her journey. They had a great time. But after her friends left, the woman realized the figurine had disappeared. She called the police and showed them the photo she had taken at the party. One of the officers immediately realized who had stolen the figurine. Did you understand it too? It was this girl. She hid the figurine under her hat. You met a guy while on vacation, and he introduced himself as Jason. He said that his siblings were all named after the months of the year: July, August, September, October, and November. So why was he called Jason? Well, take the first letters of the guy's siblings' names, and you'll get Jason. While traveling around Mexico, Lucas decided to visit a super famous restaurant. There, he ordered 3 dishes. But when the waiter brought them and put the plates on the table, Lucas realized that eating them all might end up badly. Which dish is safe to eat? Unfortunately, none of the dishes is safe. The first one has weird mushrooms that look like they're poisonous. The third dish contains cheese with mold, but it's not that mold that's involved in cheese making. Most likely, the cheese has just gone bad. Now, you might think the second dish is safe, but look at those beans. They're poisonous castor beans. Look at these hands attentively and try to figure out which person is married. If you look at the first hand, you'll realize it doesn't belong to a grown-up person. On the second hand, there is a mark left by a ring, but there's no ring itself. It must mean that the person is no longer married. On the third hand, there's no ring either, but it's the right hand, and we wear wedding rings on the left hand. So, out of these three, this person is most likely to be married. An infinite number of mathematicians are waiting to make their orders in a coffee shop. The first one asks the barista for a half a gallon of coffee. The second wants to have a quarter of a gallon. The third needs an eighth, and so on. How many gallons of coffee will the barista need to fulfill the wishes of all the mathematicians? Well, just one. A man was to be sentenced for his crimes, but the judge told him, "You may make a statement. If it is true, I'll sentence you to 2 years in prison. If it is false, I'll sentence you to 5 years in prison." After the man made his statement, the judge decided to set him free. Can you figure out what the man said? He said, "You'll sentence me to 5 years in prison." If it was true, then the judge would have to make it false by sentencing him to 2 years. If it was false, then he would have to give him 5 years, which would make it true. So rather than contradict his own word, the judge set the man free. A guy got stranded on an island, and one of the main issues was that he couldn't swim. However, he managed to get off the island and return home safely. How did he do it? No one said the man got stranded on a deserted island. He just found some people and asked them to take him home by boat. Clever!
Sylvie and Monica are pregnant. One of them is a housewife and the other is an expert climber. Take a look at the pictures. Can you tell which woman is in danger here? Monica. If you look at the reflection on Sylvie's window, you'll see the window she's cleaning is close to the ground. She's safe, but Monica's tree is super tall. Mike was exploring the south of France when he stumbled upon an ancient castle. There were 3 ways inside the castle. The first door had a thermometer that marked an extreme temperature. The second door led to a bottomless well. And the third door was filled with electrocuting cables. Which door should he choose to enter this castle? If you have detective eyes, you saw Mike was using rubber shoes, so he could choose the last door and not be electrocuted. Maria was walking her dog when she met a childhood friend she hadn't seen in ages. While the 2 women were catching up, Maria told her friend she had 7 kids. She said she had 3 boys and 3 girls. But how is that possible? Well, Maria is pregnant with her 7th kid, but didn't know the gender yet. Officer Bruce stopped 3 women on the street because they looked like a person who had escaped prison. There's a housewife, a tattoo artist, and a businesswoman. Which one of them is actually dangerous? Well, the housewife is hiding a knife under her dress. You can see the shape of it on her right thigh. She's the dangerous one. Bobby's grandmother always goes to the park to knit her grandkids' sweaters. One day, she met another grandmother who was giving food to the birds. Can you guess which one of these grannies is actually dangerous? If you look closely, there's a basket with chemicals next to the second granny. She might be poisoning the birds with these chemicals. For his mathematics final, Johnny had to ace an experiment. There were 2 buckets. The first bucket was an empty 3-gallon bucket. The second had 5 gallons of water inside of it. The task was to measure 4 gallons. How? Johnny should pour water from the 5-gallon bucket into the 3-gallon bucket, filling it completely. Transfer the 2 gallons from the 5-gallon bucket into an empty 3-gallon bucket. Fill the 5-gallon bucket to the top. Pour water from the 5-gallon bucket into the 3-gallon bucket until it's full. And voila! He has a 4-gallon bucket. Everyone that wanted to find out the secret location for a famous pop singer's concert needed to answer this riddle. The organizer texted people asking them to figure out what it was that had keys but no locks, space but no room, and which you could enter but not leave. If you said keyboard, then you got it right. Mia and Sophia work as housekeepers at a luxury resort in Cancun. One day, the hotel director received an anonymous tip that one of them had stolen an expensive bracelet from a guest. Take a look at the image. Can you spot the thief? It was Mia. If you examine the scene, you'll notice there's a shiny bracelet hidden inside her cleaning cart. Jake and Olivia were chilling at home, watching a survival challenge on TV. They got into a big debate about who had the best shot at making it out alive. Take a look at the image. Who do you think has the best chance of survival? It's the woman stuck with the snakes. Believe it or not, they're small and non-venomous, meaning she has a much better shot than the others. Leo signed up for an art and photography class. For his latest project, he had to submit a landscape photo. But he ran out of time, so he decided to edit an image and pass it off as real. The teacher and students immediately called him out. How did they know? Because his image has 2 suns. That might be normal on some planet, but not here on Earth. Inside a high-security prison, 3 men were planning their escape. The first one was desperately trying to break the cell bars. The second was lifting weights every day to get stronger. The third sat quietly reading a book. One of them was from the future. Can you figure out who? It's the man reading. If you look closely, he's holding a book that says it was published in 2097. He must have traveled from the future and ended up stuck in the past. 2 friends are sitting together at a busy cafe. One is talking about a new podcast he's launching. The other raves about the huge surprise party he's planning for his sister. Their voices are loud and the other customers seem frustrated. But what makes this conversation so strange? Well, they're not actually talking to each other. Both are on their phones, chatting through earbuds. After weeks of swiping left on his favorite dating app, Leo finally hit it off with a girl named Sophie. Their chats were great, and they decided to meet in person at her favorite cafe. To make things easy, Sophie told Leo she'd be wearing a pair of red hair clips. But when Leo arrived, he froze. 3 different women were wearing red hair clips. Can you help Leo spot the real Sophie? Sophie's at the first table. She's the only one wearing exactly 2 hair clips. One woman has 3 and the other only has 1. Emma shares a townhouse with her roommates Zoe, Mel, and Clara. Can you figure out which room is hers? The first room has a blue hairbrush, and Clara has blue hair, so that's hers. The next room has a pink sock, and you can see Zoe in the picture is missing one. Below that, a purple jacket matches Mel's outfit, so that's her room. That leaves the last room with a giant E poster on the wall. No doubt about it, that's Emma's room. Officer Dave received a late-night call saying a famous influencer had gone missing from his lab. After searching the lab, he found a note with random numbers: 3354236426527. Dave arrested the people who kidnapped the influencer in no time. How did he figure it out? The numbers weren't random, they were typed using a phone keypad. Matching them to letters, he found Felice and Nicholas, the names of the kidnappers. With that clue, it didn't take long for Dave to track them down and make the arrest. I know it wasn't exactly T9 style, but still guessable. Anna and Mark celebrated their first anniversary together with Anna's family. After a lovely dinner, they decided to take a midnight hike in the snow. They found a cozy cabin to stay in for the night. The next morning, Anna noticed their backpacks were missing. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out who took their stuff? It was Anna's two brothers. They likely pranked the couple, followed them to the cabin, and waited until they fell asleep. One of the brothers even dropped his green glove in the snow. Ed's mom was responsible for overseeing the catering for his wedding. She went inside the kitchen to check if everything was okay, but came out screaming at the catering staff. Take a look at the food they were serving. Can you guess what made her so mad? Look at the top of the cake. There are two statues of creepy-looking elves instead of the bride and groom. Something has to be done urgently. In space, making the wrong decision can cost you your life. But if you solve all the riddles, you'll be safe. To activate the navigation system and return to Earth, you need to enter a 3-digit code. You'll need to answer 3 questions to find the correct numbers. How many planets are there in our solar system? What is our planet from the Sun? How many satellites does Mars have? The code is 832. There are 8 planets in the solar system. Earth is the 3rd from the Sun. Mars has 2 satellites, Phobos and Deimos. At a research base on the moon Titan, one of the crew members turns out to be an extraterrestrial spy. Here are the suspects. An engineer who claims to be able to breathe the local air without a spacesuit. A cyberneticist with different eyes. An astrobiologist whose hands are constantly cold. The engineer who says they can breathe on Titan without problems can't be human. The atmosphere here is not suitable for breathing for us. Oh no! 2 astronauts are floating in open space near their spacecraft. Only one of them is tethered to the ship. Who will reach it first? Or maybe they'll do it at the same time. The tethered astronaut will reach the ship first. They can pull themselves along the rope, controlling their movement and speed. The untethered astronaut can't move independently unless they push off something. If they do push off, they will move toward the ship but won't be able to adjust their trajectory or speed. 2 female astronauts on the orbital station seem suspicious. One is always smiling and pretends to act normal. The other one, who is also smiling but always keeping her hands in her pockets. Which of them isn't human? The correct answer is the blonde astronaut. The edge of green fur right here is a clear clue. She hides her furry ears and wears a spacesuit even inside the station, so as not to give away her true nature. Astronauts on board the ISS complete an orbit of Earth every 90 minutes. They move from the bright side into the shadow, and then back to the side of sunlight. So how many sunrises and sunsets do they see every Earth day? "16 times. You just need to divide 24 by 1.5. You're on a spacewalk to repair a satellite, but a sudden bang throws you away from the ship. Your maneuvering system is out of order. How will you get back? You can wait for help, staying still. You can try to move your arms and legs, trying to swim back. Or you can drop one of the tools and push off from it. There's no air in space, so flapping your arms is useless. But throwing a heavy object in the opposite direction will give you momentum in the right direction. You are an astronaut on a damaged spaceship, and your navigation system is down. The only clue left is a message from an unknown intelligence. Your mission control tells you this code is using a simple letter number system. Which planet should you set your course toward? It's Mercury. You receive an alert. A giant asteroid, 7 miles wide, is hurtling towards Earth. A scientist suggests, let's launch a satellite to orbit the asteroid and use solar sails to gradually alter its trajectory. A mechanic says, let's attach thrusters to the asteroid to nudge it off course over time. An astronaut offers to send a spacecraft with gravitational tractors to tow the asteroid away from Earth's path. Which course of action will you choose? Listen to the scientist. Using solar sails or reflective paint can change the asteroid's trajectory through the Yarkovsky effect, gradually deviating it from Earth's path without causing damage. 3 planets sent you a signal offering to land there. The first one responded with a quick hand gesture. The second was silent and nodded. And the third one simply laughed. Which is the best place to go? The silent nod is the most universal gesture of agreement, so it's probably the safest option. A quick hand gesture can be either a greeting or a warning, and laughter without an explanation could mean some unpredictable civilization. There are 3 black holes in front of your ship, a small one, a large one, and a giant one. All of them suck in light and matter, but only one of them is a portal. Which one should you choose? Go for the giant black hole. The blue light is the radiation of a tunnel to another dimension, passing through its center. The small black hole is spinning so rapidly, its gravity will tear apart even light. The larger black hole is almost motionless, like an eternal trap. Space travelers are looking for a good place to land. There are 3 planets ahead of them, but 2 of them hide a serious danger. What planet should they choose? They should opt for the bright green planet with normal vegetation. The black forest on the first planet is the giant tentacles of a creature waiting for prey. The bumps on the second planet are the eyes of a colossal monster that could wake up at any moment. Suddenly you realize you're being pulled toward another black hole. Your only chance is to act fast before you cross the point of no return. You have 3 possible choices. Fire your engines at full power and try to fly straight away from the black hole. Use your thrusters to move sideways, trying to orbit around it and slingshot away. Eject all your cargo to make your ship lighter and escape gravity. What is it going to be? The second option is the safest. Trying to fly straight away is useless because the gravity is too strong. Ejecting cargo won't make a big difference in this case either. Your oxygen tank is leaking, and you have only 10 minutes of air left. You find 3 emergency oxygen tanks, but only one is safe to use. Which tank should you choose to survive? If Tank C is telling the truth, then Tank A is lying, meaning it's not 100% safe. That would mean Tank B is the safe one. But if Tank C is lying, that still makes Tank A unsafe. Either way, Tank B is your best choice. 2 space crews are competing. Who will make it to Saturn faster? Looks like one captain managed to take his spaceship there first. This selfie is supposed to prove it, but something feels off here. Can you see it? Saturn is famous for its rings, and there are clearly no rings in the photo. The captain must have forgotten about it with his desire to win. Your spaceship's navigation system is fried, and you need to get back to Earth. You find a map with 3 route options. Route A is the shortest path, but it takes you through an asteroid field. Route B is longer, but it orbits a black hole. Route C is the longest, but guaranteed safe. Which route should you take? Go for Route B. If you stay outside the event horizon and use the black hole's gravity to slingshot forward, you can travel much faster than the other routes. Your spaceship is losing power and you need to fix it fast. You find 2 wires. The red wire powers life support, but may cause an overload. The blue wire has an unknown function but looks safe and undamaged. Which wire should you connect first? Go for the red wire. Without life support, you won't survive long enough to fix the engine. Once life support is working, you can carefully repair the other systems. It didn't work, so you need to escape, but the only way out is through one of 3 doors. Door 1 leads to a broken gravity-free tunnel where you'll float endlessly. Door 2 leads to an airlock with no suit, meaning you won't last a second. Door 3 leads to a vacuum chamber with an emergency switch for gravity. Door number 3 is the one. If you can hold your breath for a few seconds, you can reach the gravity switch and escape before the vacuum pulls you out. Congrats! You've returned to Earth safely.
Lucas and Hudson are walking. Which one of them isn't very smart? It's Hudson. He's staring at the screen of his phone and can miss that cliff and fall over. Even though Lucas is blind, he still has his stick. With its help, he'll know about the edge of the cliff as soon as he reaches it. He's safe. Opal is spending a vacation climbing the mountains. Karis is climbing Everest. Can you tell which one of them isn't smart? It's Opal. Look, she's forgotten about the safety rope and is climbing without it. Not good. Gabriel and Archer are bloggers who take selfies in dangerous places. This time, Gabriel is taking a selfie while surfing a huge wave, and Archer has chosen to take one while standing on the edge of the bridge above the lake. Who is not being careful? It's Gabriel. They're both doing very risky things, but at least Archer has some people around who can help him if something happens. Gabriel is alone in the ocean. It's a very early morning after a party. Egan and Bradley are driving their children to college. Can you tell who's not smart? Egan. His son isn't even in the car. Delilah and Ellery are on vacation. Both of them decided to learn something new. Delilah is skiing in the forest, and Ellery is practicing skating on the lake. Who's in danger? It's Ellery. Look, the ice on the lake is cracking, and there's no one around to help her. She should get out of there as fast as possible. Ariana and Eliza are getting ready for a barbecue party they're hosting. Ariana is making salads outside, and Eliza is decorating the house and the garden. Who's not being smart? It's Ariana. While she's busy with the salads, the meat is going bad in the sun. Karis, a mother of 4, returned home and saw that all the teenagers were quietly doing their own stuff. The oldest one, Amanda, was playing Uno, Gabriella was reading, Haven was painting. What was Ainsley doing? Ainsley was playing Uno with Amanda. Take a look at these guys and tell who is behaving stupidly. All the guys on the left, they will all fall in the end. The only guy who will stay on the tree is the one on the right. Detective Callum was spending his holiday in Hawaii. He was having his evening coffee on the terrace when he heard some noise and a scream. The balcony door of the room next to his was open, so he walked in and asked what had happened. A young actress, Chanel, was staying there. She said some man dressed in black and wearing a mask broke into her room and tried to take her away. She screamed and the criminal ran away, disappearing in the hallway. The actress asked Detective Callum to find the man immediately. But the detective said Chanel could try to fool someone else, and he'd rather return to his coffee. Why didn't he believe the girl? Look at the door of the actress's room. Lots of boxes are blocking it. If the man had indeed run out of the door, he'd have pushed all the stuff out of his way. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to open it. The girl just tried to make up some drama to get media attention. Adam came to his PE class and told the teacher that, unfortunately, he couldn't work out. He broke his arm the other day. But Adam had a bad reputation. The teacher didn't believe him and told the guy to stop fooling around. Do you believe Adam? Look, he has a cast on his arm, but it's placed over his jacket. It must be fake. Mrs. Miller reported that someone in the neighborhood had run up to her and stolen her bag. The authorities interrogated all the neighbors. Bryce said he had been away. I came home less than a minute ago. Arden said she'd spent all day at home and hadn't been outside. Easton said he had taken his dog for a walk, but he didn't steal anything or see anything strange. The authorities arrested one person. Who? They arrested Bryce. He said he'd just come home, but the water in the pot on the stove is boiling. He must have been at home for a while already. Ames worked in a clock store. One day he called the police. When they arrived, Ames told them he had been working when the electricity suddenly went off. He tried to solve the problem by himself first, then he called the police. They soon figured out what had happened, and the lights were on again. Ames immediately checked the cash desk. Apparently, while the lights were off, someone broke into the store and stole all the money. But the police didn't believe him and arrested the man. Why? In the store, there were mechanical and electric clocks, but the difference between the time they display is just 10 minutes. Mechanical clocks don't stop when the electricity is off. It means that the lights were off only for about 10 minutes. Ames must have switched the electricity off by himself and then called the police. Nelson was a writer. He was always disturbed by teenagers gathering outside his house and couldn't focus. One day, the man called the police. When they arrived, he said someone had thrown a stone at his office window. He asked the police to officially prohibit the teenagers from coming anywhere close to his house. But the detective didn't believe him. Why? Look, the glass is broken at the bottom, but this part of the window is protected by the balcony outside. Nelson must have broken the window himself to accuse the teenagers. A family was on vacation, and they had no idea what day it was. Dad said, I'm pretty sure it's either Monday or Tuesday. Mom added, all I know is that it wasn't Wednesday yesterday. Jake said, it must be Wednesday, or the weekend. Sienna was in doubt. Maybe it's Friday. Ruby said, Friday is tomorrow. Can you tell what day it is if only one statement is true? According to Dad, it's Monday or Tuesday. According to Mom, it's any day other than Thursday. So it might be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Jake is sure it's Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday. Sienna claims it's Friday, and according to Ruby, it's Thursday. The only day that is mentioned only once is Thursday. It means Ruby is right. Paige and Quinley were sisters. They were hanging out together in their room. Quinley had a crush on a guy from her school. She decided to write him a letter. Paige thought it was a bad idea, but Quinley wouldn't listen to her. Once she was almost done, Quinley went downstairs to get some tea. When she returned, the letter was gone. Paige said that a gust of wind suddenly blew in and the letter flew out of the window. But Quinley didn't believe her and asked Paige to give her the letter back. How did she figure out her sister had taken the letter? When the wind blows inside a room from the outside, nothing can possibly fly out of the window. Colton got into an accident and had memory loss. Kennedy and Isla both claimed to be his girlfriend. They took the guy to the place where they had their first date. Each of the girls hoped Colton would decide she was his real girlfriend. Have you figured out who the guy dated? Look, there are initials painted on the tree, saying C plus I. It means Colton's girlfriend is Isla. In a hotel, someone robbed a rich gentleman. The only witness was Joseph, a cleaning man working in the hotel. He was tidying a room nearby at the time of the robbery. The detective asked the man if he had seen anything. Joseph said, "When I heard the noise, I was going to enter the room, but then the door opened and hit me on the head. I couldn't see for a while." Joseph even showed the police officer a bruise on his forehead. The detective didn't believe Joseph, though, and arrested him for assisting the robber. Why? The door couldn't hit Joseph because it opens inwards, so he lied. After an accident, Karis was staying in the hospital. Only relatives were allowed to visit her. But 3 guys wanted to see the girl: her boyfriend, a classmate who was in love with her, and her brother. Each of them said he was her brother. Take a look at the guys' identity cards and try to figure out who her brother is. Her brother must be Philip. The age difference between Karis and Colton is 4 months, and between Karis and Nero, 5. Such an age gap is too small for them to be siblings. Maddox came to the police station to report his cousin Damon. The guy asked Maddox if he could stay with him for a couple of days. In the evening, Damon asked the host to bring him some fruit from the basement. When Maddox went there, Damon locked him inside. There was no electricity and no light in the basement, and Maddox didn't have a single gadget with him that could help him out. 2 days later, at 4 a.m., he heard his cousin drive away. It was only later that day that he managed to get out, thanks to a postman. Maddox found out that all his money had been stolen. But the police officers didn't believe him. Why? Maddox said he hadn't had any gadgets to check the time. It was also too dark to see anything on a regular clock. Then how could he figure out when exactly his cousin drove away? A cluster of students was divided into 3 groups. Ava, Tio, and Max were the red team. Jane, Elsa, and Ever were the blue team. Chloe, Chase, and Belle were in the third group. Following the logic, what was the color of their group? Green, orange, or yellow? Students' names in the red group consist of 3 letters, just like the word red. The word blue, just like the name of the color, consists of 4 letters. The names Chloe, Chase, and Belle consist of 5 letters. So should their color. Green is the only color that fits, so their team is green. Brooke, Scarlett, Ruby, and Quinn are sisters. Quinn stands right next to Charlotte. Brooke is between Ruby and Quinn. Ruby is on the very right. Can you identify the name of each girl? Let's start with the last hint. So, Ruby is on the right. Then, since Brooke is between Ruby and Quinn, the next one is Ruby. Then there's Quinn. The remaining girl on the left must be Scarlett. It fits the first hint too, because Quinn and Scarlett stand next to each other. So, it's Scarlett, Quinn, Brooke, and Ruby. Take a look at the 4 words: corset, sector, rocket, coster. Can you tell which one of them is an extra one? It's the word rocket. All the rest are anagrams of each other. If rocket had an S instead of a K, it would be an anagram too. Philip is a young inventor who constructed a robot that can do all the household chores and called him Joey. One day, when Philip came back from university, he found that his robot was stolen. He was looking for it everywhere until he found an old and dark dungeon. He went there hoping to find his robot and wasn't mistaken. However, 5 robots looked exactly like his, and Philip had only one try to pick the right robot. If he picked the wrong one, he'd be trapped in the dungeon forever. Can you help Philip find his robot? All the robots look exactly the same, but take a closer look. One of them has a badge saying Joey, and that's the name of Philip's robot. During the Christmas holidays, Mr. Jones reported that his dog was stolen. A local detective arrived to interrogate some neighbors. Mr. Thompson said he was out all day and just returned home, so he has nothing to do with the dog. Ms. Miller said she spent all day eating and binge-watching some movies. Mr. Raymond said that he was outside the house swimming all day and hasn't heard anything about the dog and hasn't even seen it. However, the detective figured out who stole the dog. Can you? It must be Mr. Raymond. He said he was swimming outside. But take a look outside. It's winter and it's snowing. It's Christmas break. No way, man. Esme had a walk in the forest and soon realized she got lost. She was wandering around until she found a witch's house. She walked in, pet the cat, and asked the witch if she could help her out. Today, the witch was busy solving a math riddle her grandson sent her by Raven Post. He couldn't solve it and asked his grandma to help. Unfortunately, the witch couldn't solve it either, so she said that she'd let Esme go if she solves the riddle. Here's an equation. 101 minus 102 equals 1. Move just one digit and make it correct. Luckily, Esme is a smart girl. She just moved the 2 up to make it 10 squared. Now it's 101 minus 10 squared, which is 100. 101 minus 100 equals 1. So, Esme got away happily. Wyatt woke up in some dungeon. He tried to escape, but the door was locked. Moreover, a clock appeared and started ticking, saying there will be an explosion in half a minute if he doesn't crack the code. It was just one number, but the trick was that Wyatt only had one chance for a guess. Luckily, there was a hint. You guess what the correct digit is? The second number in each row is the number of letters needed to spell the first one. So the word 1 has 3 letters. The word 2 has 3 as well. The word 3 has 5. The word 4 has 4 letters, so the digit Y it needs is 4. Blake was a writer applying for a job in a fashion magazine. However, the boss was a whimsical woman. Blake did the interview well, but still, the woman didn't want to hire her because Blake was too young. The boss poured some water into a glass and asked Blake to get her some apple juice to fail her. However, there were 2 conditions. She wanted the water in the glass, but didn't want it to mix with the juice. Still, Blake figured out how to do it and got the job. How? She just put the glass in the freezer and waited till the water got frozen. Then she poured the juice on top of it. In a small neighborhood, girls started to get kidnapped. The first day, it was Anna. The next day, Hannah disappeared. Then, the third day in a row, Elle went missing too. People in the neighborhood didn't want another girl to disappear. However, there was only one police officer, and he could only stay with one of them. There were 4 girls left: Ayla, Sienna, Ava, and Alice. Can you guess who the police officer should stay with to prevent the kidnapping? There should be a pattern, and there is. The names of all the missing girls, Anna, Hannah, and Elle, are palindromic. It means they're the same when you read them forward and backward. Only Ava has a palindromic name out of the remaining girls, so she must be the next target, and the officer should stay with her. On a rainy evening, Liberty came back from school to find out that her chocolate was stolen. She called her siblings and asked who ate her chocolate, but everyone denied it. Storm said he was working out in his room and he doesn't eat sweets. Andromeda said she would never eat someone else's chocolates. Thor said that he just walked home from his friend's house and didn't touch her chocolate either. However, Liberty didn't believe one of her siblings. Who stole her chocolate? It was Thor. It's raining outside and he doesn't have an umbrella. If he was out, he'd be wet from the rain just like Liberty, but he wasn't. It means that he lied, which means he probably lied about the chocolate too. Della was having a birthday party. She invited 3 people over and got 3 presents: a pair of heels, a bag of makeup, and golden earrings. However, Della didn't like one of the presents. Can you guess which one and why? She didn't like the golden earrings just because she couldn't wear them. Her ears aren't pierced. Well, maybe she will consider piercing them. 4 sisters, Jane, Flora, Maeve, and Annika, were each born in one of the months January, February, March, and April. Here's their talk. "It's a pity no one's name starts with the same letter as their birth month," said Annika. "Who cares?" said someone who was born in January. "I wish my birth month at least started with a vowel, but I'm not even that lucky," said Maeve. Which month was each girl born in? Let's draw a table. No girl's name starts with the same letter as the month, so we cross them out. The girl born in January replied, so Annika wasn't born in January. Neither was Maeve because she replied next. So Flora was born in January. Maeve wasn't born in April because her month doesn't start with a vowel, so April's girl is Jane. It leaves only March for Annika and, therefore, February for Maeve. Elsie is working as a maid at a rich woman's house. One day, the woman reported that her diamond necklace was stolen. She claimed that it must have been Elsie who stole it because that day no one else was in the house. However, Elsie denied taking it. Who should the officer believe? He should believe Elsie. She said she didn't take it, and she's telling the truth. Look, the necklace is hidden in the woman's hair. Mr. Bright cleaned his office, locked it, and went on a vacation to Malta. He spent 2 glorious weeks there, but he immediately realized that someone had broken into his office when he returned. He was the only one who had the key, but how did he realize someone had been in the office? He cleaned the desk, but take a look at the trash can. There's some trash there now, even though it was spotless before. Virginia, a young girl, was found poisoned in her room. Detective Callum came to her house for investigation. The girl was found in the armchair with a glass of some liquid by her side. It looked like she poisoned herself, but the detective didn't believe it. He said it was someone else who poisoned her, and it probably wasn't even in the glass. Why did he think so? Take a look at Virginia's desk. The mouse is on the left side, which means she's a lefty. However, the glass stands on the right side of her. Probably someone just put it there to make it look like she did. Jason is making pizza for his family, and Savannah went outside to make some grilled vegetables. Which one of them does something wrong? Jason. He forgot to turn on the oven. Susie is listening to music and vacuum cleaning the house. Elizabeth is working in the garden. Who is doing something wrong? Susie should take her headphones out and check out what she's doing. The vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in, so she's about to do it all over again. It's finally Christmas time, and two girls, Nicole and Rachel, are getting ready for their vacation in Mexico. Who is doing something wrong? Rachel. Take a look. She's packing sweaters and other warm clothes. However, it's not that cold in Mexico, even during Christmas, so she should definitely reconsider her vacation wardrobe. Dennis is a talented architect. He's designed a unique skyscraper, and right now, the construction works are starting. His boss asked Dennis to show around a group of specialists from a competitor company. The only condition was that they weren't allowed to take any photos. Dennis did as he was told, but when the group was going to leave, he asked security to detain one man. The architect claimed he had been taking photos during the tour around the site. How did he understand it? The man was carrying an umbrella. He kept pointing it at different objects, asking lots of questions. But the sky is cloudless. What does he need an umbrella for? A camera must be hidden there. Nathan came to his friend Zachary, who worked in a museum. Look what I've got, a priceless manuscript that was written more than 1,000 years ago. Zachary looked through the manuscript and realized his friend had been fooled. Does anything in this text strike you as strange? If we talk about the dates before the Common Era, they should be in reverse order. The original text would read, King Alfred V ruled the country from 1320 to 1290 BCE. Detective Aaron Jones got a call late at night. It was his neighbor. I've heard a very loud noise coming from the house next door. I'm afraid to go there to investigate alone, but what if something has happened? When Aaron and his neighbor arrived at the place, they saw the entrance door open. They ran inside and found the house owner, Mr. Anderson, on the floor of his bedroom, tied and moaning in pain. He said he had been in bed reading a book, and then a man in a black mask broke into his room and hit him on the head. Then he tied Mr. Anderson, took all his money and other valuables, and disappeared. Detective Jones didn't believe the man. Why? Look at his bed. There isn't even a wrinkle on the cover. It's unlikely that the thief made the bed after tying Mr. Anderson, which means the man is lying. Look at this group of people and try to figure out who the man's wife is. It's the woman in purple. Both she and the biker are wearing matching wedding rings. Joan took part in an experiment, testing her logical thinking and analytical skills. She had to crack riddles to get to the next level. Right now, the girl is locked in a small room. The door will open automatically once she figures out the riddle written on a piece of paper. Which principle is this sequence based on? 8549176320. The numbers are lined up based on the alphabetical order of the first and second letters of their name. 8, 5, 4, 9, and so on. Joan managed to get out of the room and is ready for the next task. This time, the girl needs to join all the blue points on the screen, but she's allowed to use only 3 lines. How can she do it? She's drawn a triangle. Its 3 sides include all the dots. The next level is rather scary. Joan is locked in a room that's slowly filling with water. This process will only stop when the girl figures out how this equation can be true. 29 minus 1 equals 30. Even under these stressful conditions, Joan managed to crack the puzzle. She replaced the numbers with the Roman numerals. XXIX minus I equals XXX. Then she removed the 1 I from 29 XXIX and got 30 XXX. Wow, this was a riddle with a lot of excess. And finally, Joan is given the last test. She needs to figure out which object is the odd one and doesn't belong to the group. Can you do the same? It's the first object. It's the only one that doesn't have any individual traits. The second object is uniquely round. The third doesn't have a red line around it. The fourth shape is a different color, and the fifth one is smaller than the rest. 2 cars are driving through the city. They both started their journey at the same time. The green one is moving at a speed of 30 miles per hour. The yellow one is faster. Its speed is 50 miles per hour. And still, at one point, the green car comes across the yellow car. How is it possible? Well, the cars were traveling in opposite directions. Look at this teenager and 2 women behind his back. Who is his real teacher? The answer is in the reflection behind their backs. You can see that both women are holding pointers, but in the mirror, only one of them has it. She is the real teacher. 2 men are going to fill their watering cans with water from the river. Who will bring more water? The spout of the older man's watering can is situated lower than the spout of the other man's can, and the level of water can't be higher than the spout. It means the younger man will bring more water. Evelyn wants to visit one unusual restaurant, but to get there, one must know the password. The girl hides around the corner to figure it out. She sees a man come up to the security guard. The guard says 12. The man answers 6 and is allowed to come in. Then a young woman approaches the security guard. He says 6, and she answers 3. Evelyn is sure she has figured out the pattern. She comes up to the security guard and hears him say 4. The girl says 2, and isn't allowed to enter. Why? The password is always different. It's the number of letters in the word the security guard says. Like the word 12 has 6 letters. That's why Evelyn should have answered 4. A manager of the most luxurious sea resort in the area called the police. She said someone had stolen a set of very expensive monogrammed bed linen. 3 guests left the hotel that morning: Mr. Sam Taylor, Mrs. Amanda Martin, and Mr. Michael Smith. The police detained one of the guests and indeed found the bed linen in their suitcase. How did the detectives figure out which person was the thief? As you can see, the hotel's name is Morning Star. This means the monogram on the bed linen was MS. The only person with the same initials is Mr. Michael Smith. Hannah called her friend, Detective Evelyn Marks, and asked her to come as soon as possible. While the woman was away walking with her dog, someone had gotten into her house and stolen her laptop. Hannah was sure it was her neighbor, Jeremy. Evelyn went to question the man, but he wasn't at home. She decided to wait for him in her car. Soon she saw Jeremy opening his entrance door. "I went fishing early in the morning. Don't you see that I've just come home?" But Hannah didn't believe Jeremy and took him to the police station. Why? The guy was wearing white sneakers, but it's been raining since early morning. If he was out fishing, how can his shoes look so clean? Detective Jacob Robinson was spending his vacation in the mountains. One morning, he found out someone had stolen a big sum of money from the owner of the hotel where he was staying. Jacob offered the man his help and questioned all the hotel guests. Emma said, "I felt unwell and spent all the evening in my room." Lewis explained to the detective that he had only arrived at 2 a.m. and had gone straight to bed. And Simon said, "I've got friends living here in the village. I went to visit them and returned in the morning, just an hour ago." Detective Robinson immediately realized who was guilty. Do you know it? It was Simon. Look at the snow around the hotel. It looks untouched with no footprints whatsoever. Then how did Simon get back from the village? Mrs. Williamson told her daughter Maya she wasn't allowed to see her boyfriend Luke until she prepared for her exam. After that, the woman went shopping. When she was coming back, she spotted Luke, who was walking along the street. When Mrs. Williamson returned home, she immediately realized Maya had seen her boyfriend. How did the woman figure it out? When she was leaving, there were 5 roses in the vase on the kitchen table. Now there were only 4, and when she saw Luke, he was carrying a rose. Private Detective Sean was waiting for his client in the lobby of a large hotel. The client was running very late. That's why, to entertain himself, Sean was observing the hotel guests. He noticed a man at the reception desk. He had 4 suitcases, but refused when the porter offered to help him with the baggage. The man went to his room, only to reappear 5 minutes later with the largest of his suitcases. Half an hour later, he returned without the suitcase and went to his room. Soon, he rushed to the reception shouting, "My suitcases, they're gone!" Sean introduced himself and, together with the hotel management, joined the man in his room. Something seemed off about the guy, and soon, the detective realized he was a fraudster. What did the man do? Each of his suitcases was smaller than the previous one. The man packed all of them into the largest suitcase and left with it. And then he pretended someone had stolen his things. Detective Taylor was chasing a dangerous criminal. Suddenly, the man entered a hospital, but there are hundreds of rooms there. Luckily, it was raining, and the criminal left footprints on the floor. The detective followed them and got into a small room. There were 3 people there. All of them were covered in bandages from head to toe. But one of them was a fake patient. Who? It's the man in the middle. He doesn't have a medical chart next to his bed. You wake up in a dark, cold dungeon. You don't remember how you got here, and you don't know what's going on. You rub your head because it hurts. Your ears are ringing. Hey, calm down and focus. Creepy puzzles are waiting for you, and at the end of the video, you'll see how good at them you are. You see several strange symbols scratched on a brick wall. It's 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below, and a check mark even lower. Next, you come to a grid. A huge rusty lock is hanging on it. There's no key. Look around and try to figure out how you can get out. Have you noticed that brick that sticks out of the wall? Try pushing it. Ha! It worked! A secret door opens and you make your way outside. You go down the stairs and see a large hall. Several torches light up and you spot 4 huge mirrors. They reflect Frankenstein, a skeleton, a zombie, and a vampire. One of these creatures is a human being. Can you guess who it is? Vampires don't get reflected in the mirror, so you're looking at a human. He gives you a small bone and warns that you will need it. You get outside and realize you're in the courtyard. This is the territory of a large, sinister castle. There are no clouds in the sky, and the sun is hidden behind one of the tall towers. You can see 3 gates ahead. A werewolf is next to the first one. A second gate is guarded by a huge scorpion the size of a car. And the third gate has a scary alive gargoyle. Something is wrong here. Find out what exactly. The sun is shining brightly, so there's no full moon. So what's a werewolf doing here? It's just a human in a costume. The werewolf opens the gate and you go through. You're back in the castle and step into a small room. There are cobwebs everywhere and a lot of garbage on the floor. You can see a jar of salt on the table and a note on the wall. It says, "A circle of salt." You decide to take the jar just in case. At this point, a slippery, viscous liquid starts dripping onto your shoulder. You look up and see a big spider descending towards you on its web. You run away and see 3 doors. You can hear screaming behind the first one. Behind the second door, you hear the sound of a chainsaw. A dog is barking behind the third one. Quickly, you've got to decide where to go. Run to the third door. Yeah, you'll meet an angry dog, but you have a bone. You throw it, and the dog immediately feels better. It nibbles on its trophy and forgets all about you. On the floor, you can see human footprints that lead to the next door. You push the handle down. It's locked. Look around the room and find the key. The dog is gnawing on the bone and the key is glinting on its collar. You pet the dog and gently remove the key from its neck. You open the door. It's dark and you can't see anything. You take a small step forward and fall into a deep hole. Fortunately, you're not hurt. On the ground, you find an old MP3 player with headphones. It still has some battery left. Great, you put it in your pocket. You can't climb up the smooth walls of the pit, but you can see that someone has thrown down 2 ropes for you to get out. One rope is white and slightly shining. The other looks quite ordinary. Choose which you should use to get out. The white rope is a spider web. The spider is still chasing you, so you choose the normal rope. You get out of the pit. The rope is tied to a marble pillar. You untie it and put it in your pocket. You slowly walk down a dark corridor and hear a growl behind you. It's a werewolf. The full moon is out. You run out of the corridor and find yourself in the street. There are 3 paths ahead of you. The first road is covered with lava. The second one is swarming with snakes. And the third road leads to a poisonous lake. Hurry up, the werewolf is coming. There's a shoe lying right on the water on the left side of the lake. This means that the lake is frozen. You're sliding on the ice and falling. The werewolf is still chasing you, but it slips too, and you have time to run to the solid ground. There's a massive tower ahead. You run inside and close the door. You find yourself in a circular hall lit by torches. Human faces appear on the walls. Their hands begin to reach out. The phantoms are slowly approaching you. They're everywhere, surrounding you. What will you do? Remember that jar of salt and the note saying, "a circle of salt"? You should spill salt around you, and the phantoms won't dare cross that line. You do, and then wait for a while, and they disappear. You climb up a spiral staircase to the top of the tower. The door slams shut behind you. There's one window and an iron torch stand mounted on the wall. In the center of the room, you notice a wide bed, surrounded by a white veil. You push the veil aside with your hand and see that 2 zombies are sleeping there. They open their eyes, get up, and slowly walk towards you. What are you gonna do now? Use the rope you found before. Tie it to the torch stand and go down through the window. Great! The zombies are too stupid to pull the rope back. You're on the ground and see a car. At this moment, the werewolf breaks out of the castle. You get into the vehicle and lock the door. The werewolf hits the window with its paws. You can't find the key. It's probably in the glove compartment, but it has a 3-digit combination lock. Recall the beginning of your adventure and try to guess the code. Hurry up before the werewolf breaks the glass. In the dungeon where you woke up, there were several signs on the wall. 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below them, and a check mark even lower. The check mark is the Roman numeral 5. Then the code is 435. You take out the key, start the engine, and drive away. You leave the castle but realize the car's brakes don't work. There are 3 roads ahead. A brick wall is at the end of the first one. The second road leads to a burning forest. And the third road ends on a high hill with a cliff. What path will you choose? There's almost no time. You're driving too fast. Release the gas pedal and drive up the hill. The speed will soon drop. At one point, you'll be able to get out of the vehicle. You jump out of the car and it falls off the cliff. You go around the hill and get into a swamp. You make your way through the marsh and see 3 women in front of you. Which one is a mermaid? The woman in the middle has something strange on her neck. Those are gills. The second girl has webbed fingers. The girl on the left seems normal. She's a human. You pass through the swamps and find yourself on the seashore. An old motorboat is lying on the sand. You push it to the water, start the engine, and climb inside. You go far away from the island with the castle. In the distance, you see some rocks and shipwrecks. You slow down and hear beautiful singing. It's coming from several women staying on top of the rocks. They're sirens. Using their singing, they lure sailors whose ships crash against the rocks. You move straight toward them and can't resist it. The rocks are getting closer and closer. Do something, quickly! You still have your MP3 player you found in the pit. You put on the headphones, turn on the music, and go away. The engine stalls. Far ahead, you can see an outline of another island. You grab an oar and start rowing. A few hours pass, you're hungry and thirsty. There are fish swimming in the water, and you find a can of worms in the boat. But how can you catch them without a fishing rod? Use one of your shoelaces. Tie the bait to it and lower it into the water. It works! You catch a few fish, but then you notice a shark's fin. It circles you and pushes the boat. The island is really close, but you need to get away from the dangerous creature. How are you going to solve this problem? Throw the fish you've caught as far as possible. This will distract the shark and give you some time to get to the shore. Whew, done. But unfortunately, you've given your lunch away to the sea hunter. Exhausted, you get to the shore. Here, you meet a man. It says it was him who left you the MP3 player and the rope. He also wrote the code on the wall of the dungeon. Without a word, you kick him in the shins and he hobbles off. No, you don't, but I sure would. Anyway, you're glad that everything is over and just lie down on the sand. But the man tells you it's not the time to relax. Other tough tests are waiting for you. You hear bizarre sounds coming from the jungle. But that's another story, and this one is coming to an end. Time to find out your score. 0 to 4 points, don't get upset. You can do better, but it's a bad idea for you to go to magic castles. 5 to 8 points, not bad. You've proved that you're brave, but you were a little lacking in resourcefulness. You will solve other riddles better. 9 to 12 points, almost perfect. You've passed the test and proved that you can get out of any dangerous situation alive. 13 to 15 points. It's not you who should run away from the monsters. They should be wary of you. Any mystical castle can become your home. A famous rich businessman got sick. He needed a professional doctor and was ready to pay a lot of money. Many fake doctors applied, hoping to get that amount. Take a look at their resumes and tell which doctor is the real one. It says that Mr. Robert Greene was born on November 31st, but this date doesn't exist. There are just 30 days in November, so this resume must be fake. As for Dr. Matthias Johnson, there's no city mentioned in the place of birth, only the state. If I were that rich gentleman, I'd definitely pick the first candidate. Leslie lived in a house where she wasn't allowed to have any pets. But one day, she found a cute, lonely dog that didn't have an owner. She couldn't resist and took it home. A few weeks later, the house owner knocked on her door. Leslie hid the dog and opened the door. Still, the owner instantly knew that she was keeping a dog. How did he know? She forgot to hide the dog's food. A huge pack is still in her room. Tatum got messages from 3 different guys who wanted to go out with her: Zion, Toby, and Brick. She loved reading, especially detective stories, and she told that to each of the guys. Can you guess which of the guys lied to her based on their responses? Zion: Sure, I absolutely love detective stories. My grandpa knew Sherlock Holmes himself. Toby: Same. Last year I read 200 books and most were detective stories. Brick: Wow, that's awesome. My mom owns a bookstore in New York and she always brings me books, so I love reading too. Zion was lying. Sherlock Holmes is a book character and he never existed in real life, so his grandpa couldn't possibly know him. Eloise was having a birthday party. She invited 3 people over and got 3 presents: a pair of gloves, a bag of makeup, and sunglasses. However, Eloise didn't like one of the presents. Can you guess which one and why? She didn't like the pair of gloves. Both of them are right-handed. 3 zombie girls are chasing Jake. One of them is his ex-girlfriend. Can you tell which one? Take a closer look at Jake's shoulder. He has a tattoo that says J+L. These must be the first letters of his and his girlfriend's names. If you take another closer look, you can see that Zombie Girl B has a tag attached to her leg saying Lucy. It must be her name, and it starts exactly with an L. So, Zombie B must be his ex. Esme went for a walk in the woods and got lost. She's been wandering around until she approached the witch's house. She pet her cat and asked if the witch can send her home. The witch agreed to let Esme go if the girl guessed her name. Luckily, there was a hint. The capital of Romania, the capital of Oman, the capital of Spain, and the capital of Egypt. Esme got it right. Can you guess what the witch's name is? Romania has only one capital letter, and it's R. The capital letter of Oman is O. Spain gives us S, and from Egypt we get E. So it seems like the witch's name is Rose. Right before a restaurant was about to open, somebody stole all the money from the office. A detective arrived for interrogation. A cook said he was working hard and didn't have time to walk or gaze around, so he didn't see anything. The security guy said that he was in the bathroom and didn't steal anything. The waiter said that he saw one visitor going to the office, but somehow didn't realize that wasn't okay and didn't stop him. The waiter was arrested for stealing the money. Why? The restaurant was closed, and there couldn't have been any visitors inside. Indiana wanted to make her mom the best birthday present ever, but had zero ideas. So she decided to break into her mom's computer to see what she had in her online shopping cart. Her mom's computer required a password, and Indiana didn't know it. Luckily, there was a hint: 914491141. Can you guess what the password is? Each letter is the number of a respective letter in the alphabet. Ninth letter is I. Letter number 14 is N. Number 4 is D. Ninth is I again. The first one is A. The 14th is N. And then A again. So the password is Indiana. Emma, Maeve, and David like apple juice. Anna, Layla, and Ava like orange juice. Following the same logic, what kind of juice does Atlas prefer? Emma, Maeve, and David have just one letter A in their names, so they're grouped together. Anna, Layla, and Ava have 2 A's in their names. Atlas has 2 A's in the name, so she prefers orange juice. William was on vacation in Thailand. One day, he met a beautiful girl there and approached her. He asked her on a date, and the girl agreed to go out with him if William guessed her name. Since she really liked him too, she gave him a hint. My name is 2/7 of Germany, 2/5 of Nepal, 2/9 of Singapore, and 1/5 of Spain. Can you guess what the girl's name is? 2/7 of Germany means 2 out of 7 letters in the word Germany, which are GE. 2/5 of Nepal gives us NE. 2/9 of Singapore adds up to SI, and 1/5 of Spain is S. So the girl's name is Genesis. The police have been looking for the person who robbed the city bank. They figured he'd try to leave the country, so they arrived at the airport and started questioning the people. One man, Bryce, said that he was a geography teacher going on his vacation to Germany, Poland, and Wonderland. Another suspect, Savannah, said she was a model going to Italy for a photo shoot. Max, a student, said that he was going home to Ukraine for the semester break. Can you tell who the robber is? It's Bryce. Wonderland is a fictional country. If he really were a geography teacher, he'd know that it doesn't exist. Annika woke up and found out that she wasn't in her room, but in some dungeon. She tried to open the door, but it required a password. The hint said SMTWT. Can you guess the following 2 letters? This is the sequence of the first letters of weekdays. S for Sunday, M for Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It means that the final 2 are F and S, Friday and Saturday. Mrs. Lawrence had 3 teenage daughters, Serenity, Kennedy, and Autumn. They were all grounded and couldn't leave the house. However, one of the neighbors reported that they've seen one of the girls at the mall but couldn't tell which one. Mrs. Lawrence came home and asked the girls what they were doing. Serenity said that she was reading all day. Kennedy said that she was watching a movie in her room and never left the house. Autumn said that she had spent the day in the garden. Mrs. Lawrence immediately knew who lied. Can you tell? Look, Kennedy and Autumn have dirty shoes. That's okay for Autumn because she said she'd been in the garden. Kennedy said that she'd never left her room, so her shoes can't possibly be that dirty. She must have lied. Dakota got in a car accident and was suffering from memory loss. She was a popular girl at school, and everyone wanted to be friends with her. Since Dakota couldn't remember who her friends were, one of the girls decided to pretend she was her bestie. On Monday, 3 girls visited Dakota. Ava brought her some snacks and chocolates. Nova got her earrings that Dakota had wanted to buy. Arden made her a friendship bracelet and brought a movie. Can you tell which girl isn't Dakota's friend? It's Nova. She got her earrings, but Dakota's ears aren't even pierced, so she couldn't have wanted to get them. Can you tell which werewolf is real here? Werewolves only turn from a person into a wolf at night and when it's the full moon. On the left, it's a day, so the person can't turn into a werewolf. It must be a costume. On the right, it's night, but there's no full moon, so the person shouldn't look like this as well. In the middle, everything seems normal. It's night, it's full moon, and the person has turned into a werewolf. It must be the one. Can you tell who's a real mermaid here? The second one is a guy, so he definitely isn't a mermaid. The girl on the right is chilling in the sun, and she's out of the water. Mermaids wouldn't do that because they dry out in the sun. So the real mermaid must be the one on the left. Take a look at these 3 people. Can you recognize the real vampire? If you look closely at the first one, he's wearing a silver chain. Real vampires can't stand silver, so this must be fake. The girl in the middle is wearing a silver bracelet, so she doesn't fit either. But the third vampire seems to be valid, at least at first sight. A teenage girl, Skylar, got poisoned after school, and Detective Callum had to solve the case. He interrogated the classmates, and one girl said that she saw another girl, Ayla, adding something to Skylar's water bottle. However, no one else has seen it. He talked to Ayla's boyfriend, who said that she was with him after school. Another witness was a guy working at a cafe who saw Ayla and her boyfriend there and even showed pictures from the security camera. Still, Ayla was arrested for poisoning Skylar. Why? Take a look at the picture of Ayla. She has a tattoo on her left arm. However, in the security pictures, the girl who was in the cafe with Ayla's boyfriend has a tattoo on her right arm. Turned out, Ayla had a twin sister no one knew about, who covered up for her. Mr. Jones was watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was a guy who introduced himself as Lincoln. He said that he was a member of a volunteer group. They were collecting donations to save the rarest species of dodo birds. But Mr. Jones didn't believe him and called the police. Why? There are no more dodo birds. They went extinct in the 17th century. Arwen, a rich man's only son, visited his cousin Richie. They were talking about sports and drinking tea. Suddenly, Arwen stopped breathing and fell to the floor. Richie called the doctor, who said that Arwen had been poisoned. Detective Callum arrived and started the investigation. Soon, he accused Richie of poisoning his cousin. How did Richie manage to do that? Arwen was the only one who drank his tea sweet. The poison was in the sugar. Eloise was studying in the library. She went to the bathroom and left her things on the table. When the girl returned, she realized someone had stolen her cell phone. She called the police and they questioned the other 3 students who were in the library at that time. Bernard said, "I left the library right after Eloise. I wanted to get a drink from the vending machine. I didn't touch her things." Beth said, "I was studying the whole time and didn't even see anything." Serenity said, "I was in another part of the library and didn't come close to Eloise's table." Who stole the girl's phone? It was Bernard. He said he'd left to get a drink from the vending machine. But look, there are no drinks in there, only snacks. Samantha and her daughter Avery went to the lake to spend some time together.
Yay!
They found a nice spot and sat down there. A bit later, Samantha remembered she'd left her camera in the car and went to get it. When she returned, her daughter was gone. The woman called the police, and they started to look for the girl. There were 3 people nearby, and the police officers interrogated them all. Benjamin said, "I was walking nearby and saw a girl sitting by the lake, but I didn't do anything to her." Genevieve said she hadn't even seen the girl or her mother. And Victoria said she hadn't seen them either, but she heard someone screaming. Who should the officers arrest? They should arrest Genevieve. Look, she's wearing Avery's scarf. Brian called the police early in the morning. He said that the night before, he and his girlfriend Estelle had been watching a scary movie together. Estelle was afraid to go home, so she stayed at his place. She was having a bad dream with zombies chasing after her, and she didn't wake up in the morning. The guy didn't know what had happened, but the police arrested him, claiming he was guilty. Why? The guy said his girlfriend hadn't woke up in the morning. Then, how did he know what she had been dreaming about? Theodore came from New York to his hometown, Chicago, to spend a week with his father. 3 days later, the father called the police and said his son had poisoned himself. The police examined Theodore's things to check if there was anything suspicious. After that, they took the father to the police station for further interrogation. What seemed suspicious to them? The officers found a return ticket from Chicago to New York. Theodore wouldn't have bought this ticket if he hadn't been planning to return to New York. Esme was having her usual walk in the forest. And you know what? She got lost again. After wandering around for a couple of hours, she finally found the witch's house. Esme asked the witch to show her the way back home. The witch wanted to make Esme her maid, but she had a problem. She was planning a vacation and wanted to go fishing. Her fishing rod was 13 feet long, and one was only allowed to take things no longer than 12 feet on the train. The witch promised Esme that if the girl found a solution, she'd let her go. What can Esme recommend? Esme was very good at geometry. She advised the witch to put the rod in a 12 by 5 foot box. Diagonally, it fit perfectly. On a Sunday evening, Mrs. Collins was having tea at her friend's house. Her friend suddenly said that she had seen one of Mrs. Collins' daughters in the mall that day. Mrs. Collins got angry because all of the girls were grounded. She asked which daughter it was, but her friend couldn't tell. She wasn't wearing her glasses when she was at the mall. When Mrs. Collins returned home, she asked the girls what they had been doing the whole day. Abigail said she'd spent the day reading. Brianna said she had stayed at school after classes to study a bit more. Charlotte said that she had been practicing for her upcoming piano concert. Who lied? Brianna. It's Sunday. There's no school. A young girl, Tenley, was brought to the hospital after being poisoned. But the examination showed that Tenley hadn't eaten or drunk anything that day. Her sister, Kennedy, said she didn't know anything about the accident. Tenley's friend, Ruby, said, "We were at school when Tenley felt bad." Tenley's boyfriend, Archie, said, "I haven't even talked to her today." How was Tenley poisoned, and who did it? The girl hasn't eaten anything, but she has some lipstick on. That's what contains poison. And the only person who had access to Tenley's room that day was her sister, Kennedy. There was a car accident in a tunnel. The police suspected that one of the drivers, Owen, had fallen asleep behind the wheel. But Owen denied it. "I just couldn't see well because of the rainstorm," he said. The police didn't believe him and immediately arrested the man. Why? The accident happened in a tunnel. It couldn't rain there. Someone in the town was stealing cars. Every time a car disappeared, its owner would get a message from an anonymous number. In each message, there were 2 emojis that didn't make any sense. The police tracked the number, and the geolocation led to 3 houses. They questioned the owners, Mr. Walson, Mrs. Coleman, and Mr. Woolridge. Can you tell who the car thief is? The emojis seem to make sense after all. They're a wall and a father with a son. Combine them and you'll get Walson. So Mr. Walson must be the one stealing cars. Now let's play the game Who's Less Smart? It's early morning. Tom and Joseph are driving their teenage children to school. Who is not smart? Joseph. His son is not in the car. His father has probably forgotten about the poor guy. Annie and Emma are volunteering in an animal shelter. Annie is feeding the cats, and Emma is washing the dogs. Who is not smart here? Annie. She's giving dog food to the cats. Logan and Anthony are both having job interviews at 4 p.m. Logan is packing some food, and Anthony is ironing his best suit. Who's not smart? Anthony. Look at the clock. The interview is going to start in 5 minutes, and he's still at home. Logan is at home too, but there's still another hour till his interview begins. Noelle and Gabriella are cleaning the house. Noelle is listening to music while vacuum cleaning the living room, and Gabrielle is washing the windows. Who is not being smart? Noelle. The vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in. Skylar and Autumn are both going on summer vacation. Skylar is going to Spain, and Autumn is visiting her sister in Chile. Who is not smart? Autumn. She's packing shorts and swimwear, but she won't need them because it's winter in Chile. Both Josh and Amelia didn't sleep well because their neighbor's dog had been barking all night. Amelia asked Josh to take out the trash while she was making some coffee for them. Who is not smart? Josh. Instead of the trash, he's taken out the bags with old toys they've collected to donate. Janine and Teresa are making dinner for their families. Who is not smart? Well, they both have a problem. Janine is putting out a fire with water, and Teresa has a mouse in her kitchen and an ant in the dough.